Hey there, welcome back everybody. This is Tony Viz, Tone, and I'm here with a Smackdown recap. This one might be a little shorter because I have the Ring of Honor has the Border War show tonight. That goes on in just a half hour as I'm recording this, so I might keep this one a little short. So like a solid show overall. So I guess we can just get right into this. The show began with Sheamus and Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho and Alberto Del Rio, and it ended in a double DQ / no finish. Just one of all 4 guys started the brawl. The brawl started, and then afterwards, it's like Sheamus and Jericho went at it, while Del Rio and Orton went at it, and then referees come to break it up, and then Orton chucks Del Rio out of the ring and fights him on the floor a bit. And then Sheamus and Jericho brawl in the ring still, and then Sheamus clotheslines Chris Jericho over the top out of there, and Orton clotheslines Del Rio over the guardrail barrier. Good stuff. Match was good, and this was more of a way to build up to the 4-way. I thought than it really was a match, but still, it was like having the guys, having that brawl was good stuff. I thought, And I thought the finish made sense, since you don't want to have any of these guys, who are not doing a clean job, since it'll be an title match. Then we go here. Michael Cole announces that because of the double DQ ending to the tag match, that just happened, Eve, the heel executive assistant, made 2 singles matches for later on in the show. So it would be Orton versus Del Rio and Sheamus versus Chris Jericho. And then we go to Caitlyn versus AJ. AJ just pounded the crap out of Caitlyn the whole match and just beat her in maybe not even a minute. Then after post-match stuff, AJ pounded on Caitlyn some more, and then Bryan's music hit. He came out and he says that he was impressed with AJ's gusto, and everything, and he said that he had no idea that she could be so ruthless. And he says that if she wanted to send him a message, that he got it, and he says he sees her in a new light, and he was saying how since WrestleMania there's been a lot of tension between the two of them. He says he's ready to move past all that, and he says that over the limit when he beat CM Punk to become WWE champion, he's really looking forward to moving on. And then AJ has this all happy look on her face like he's going to take it back, and then he says he's looking forward to moving on to Caitlyn. And then he just laughs it up, and his AJ just stays down, all despondent and everything. And then she leaves the ring, and then Daniel Bryan does his yes chant and everything. Like I said, the match wasn't much. I even forgot that a match had actually happened by the time they got to this, just like I forgot now for a moment. But Daniel Bryan's promo was great as usual. It's like I said, he's great at being the arrogant, the cocky heel. Him moving out to Caitlyn, I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. If it's like something like maybe Daniel and Caitlyn had this planned all along, or maybe it's a whole thing that's Daniel and AJ set up on a Caitlyn. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so then after that, Daniel Bryan faces the Big Show, and we get the Montreal finish here. Not much of a match. Daniel Bryan just locked the yes lock on Big Show. And pretty much right after as soon as he locked it in on him, the bell rings, and then Johnny Ace comes out from behind the barrier or wherever, and he says that Daniel Bryan wins the match by submission, and then then Daniel goes up he walks out up the ramp doing the yes yes chant, and then Laurinaitis gets in the ring and says that he heard about a Big Show mimic to his voice Monday night on Raw. He asked Show if he thinks it's funny. Show says no. And he says, no what? And Show says no, I don't think it's funny. And Johnny says Show isn't getting it. He says no what? And then after Big Show said no sir. So whatever. And then Laurinaitis said that he heard Big Show's apology on Raw, and he said that it wasn't a sincere one. So then he mentioned the same thing that Eve told Big Show on Raw, that there isn't much need for a 400-pound, 7'40" guy outside of the wrestling business. And then Johnny tells Big Show that he's going to have to apologize to him again this coming Monday night. and that the apology better be a good one. Okay, and then after Johnny Ace walks up the ramp, and then he says that at Extreme Rules, Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena and revolutionized WWE in one night, and he says that he'll shock the world at Over the Limit when he beats John Cena. Not really get into this segment, you know what I mean? It's like Big Show's like like I say, he's a 400-pound guy, and it's like they're making him look weak. First Eve, now Johnny Ace. Unless the payoff is going to be Show punching out Johnny Ace or something, I don't know what the hell we're doing with this. Then we go to the Ryback squash. Before we get to that, Heath Slater's in the ring saying that Ryback is a caveman, got a small brain, and hasn't really beaten anybody. And he says that he says he hasn't beaten the one-man Southern Rock man. So then he says for Ryback to come out and see what he's got. Ryback comes out and squashes him. That's pretty much it. They're trying to make him the new Goldberg. I don't know, it's not really doing it for me. I think there was some Ryberg chants in the crowd. But, so anyway, next match is Alex Riley and Antonio Cesaro. But before that, Lillian Garcia announces that the ring announcer for the match is Teddy Long. So of course, Alex Riley being one of the jobbers is already in the ring as the announcement happens. Then, Cesaro comes out with Oksana, and he's got this list of, all these nicknames that, Cesaro's got for himself. And, and he's just reading that like he's got to read it and stuff. Alex Riley got some good offense in. It was mostly a squash. Cesaro won. Got the win here. Long and goes to announces Antonio Cesaro as a winner. Then Oksana gets the mic and tells Teddy Long, it's like, oh no, I feel Teddy with that hammy Russian accent of hers, but they're just friends, and that she mentions that. Antonio, and she likes the sound of his name, Antonio. Okay. She says that she's in love with Cesaro or whatever. Then they make out in front of Teddy Long, and then they walk out, and then Teddy Long is like got the same look on his face, like, oh man, like he was like joking or whatever. It was stupid. This is like the stupidest thing that's going on in WWE. One of the stupidest things that's going on in WWE right now. This whole Teddy Long thing. It's like I think putting Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, whatever you want to call him, pairing him up with Oksana and sticking him with Teddy Long is, I don't know. I thought they could have done better. And they could have brought him up with, maybe if they bring up Cassius, Chris Hero, maybe either have them do a feud, or you can do, make them a tag team. God knows there aren't that many tag teams in WWE right now. Then we get to Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio. Randy Orton gets the win by DQ when Ricardo the Bump Machine comes on the top rope and dives on Orton or dives at Orton, and Orton gives Ricardo a midair RKO. I gotta hand it to Ricardo Rodriguez. That dude is a freaking bump machine. I think I had off that guy. So then after the match, Del Rio throws Orton into the turnbuckle, left shoulder. He throws him left shoulder first into the ring post, and then he locks the cross arm breaker on Orton's shoulder. Then referees come in to break it up or whatever, and then Orton rolls out of the ring, and he's laying on the floor mat, selling the arm injury. Good stuff, like I said again, this, having the DQ or no finish, made sense because of the, the world going to be the world title match, so you don't want to have one of them do the clean job. Then we get to R-Truth versus Jack Swagger. They had the AW stables, I like to call them, Primo, Epico Rosa, and Mason Ryan. Watching on the monitor backstage. Truth got the pin. It was a decent match. So what had happened was, Truth had Swagger pinned, but Ziggler yanked Truth's leg and right in front of the referee. I don't know how the hell the referee could have missed it. Then R-Truth goes after Ziggler and he punches him out, and then Kofi dives onto Ziggler from off the steel steps, and then Swagger comes rolls out of the ring, clotheslines R-Truth. And then Swagger throws Truth back in the ring, and then the referee's checking on R-Truth, and while that's happening, from the outside, Kofi gives Swagger the Trouble in Paradise kick. Then Truth hit his Little Jimmy finisher and got the 3 count. Like I said, okay match. I think at Over the Limit they are going to be doing Truth and Kofi versus Swagger and Dolph for the tag titles. So we'll see what So we'll see what happens there. Then we get to Santino and Zack Ryder against Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Darren and O'Neil win after whatever the double team finisher is. Titus O'Neil got the pin on Zack Ryder. Decent match. Like I said, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young got most of the offense in naturally, since the other 2 guys are comedy jobbers. I've ranted about what they've done to Zack Ryder before. I'm not going to do it now. Anyway, so afterwards, Titus gets the mic and he tells Lillian to announce them as the winners again, and she does. And then Titus says that they'll be the future tag champions. And then Young asks if he asks the fans if they know the difference between him and Titus O'Neil and the rest of the other tag teams, which there aren't that many of. And Titus says, he says the fans don't know the difference, but he do, and then they both do this millions of dollars chant, which was really funny. It was like millions of dollars, million dollars, million dollars, million dollars. I found that funny. Hopefully, if they book these guys, if they book these guys right, I think this team has a lot of potential. So hopefully, if they book them right, they can go a long way with it. Speaking of a guy who's got potential and cut a really funny, great and hilarious promo. Matt Striker interviews Damien Sandow backstage. Striker mentions that Sandow has been promising to bring enlightenment to the fans and to WWE, but he chose not to compete in his match last week against Bateman. So then Striker asks if he has an insight, and Sandow sarcastically just he was like, "Oh, poor dear Matthew, blah blah blah." And to think you were an educator, great stuff. He said like, and then he said, I'm sorry if my message flew over yours and all the fans had like the Thunder Beam Goose, whatever the hell that is. I don't know. When I heard that, I cracked up. So then he says, like the fans are looking for enlightenment, but there's no one for them to turn to find it. He said they're yearning for enlightenment, but there's no one to place on that pedestal that they can get it from. So he says that pretty much, it's the same. It's the same shtick, He says that he's going to be the guy to bring enlightenment to the WWE, and this is to Striker. This concludes our interview, and you're welcome. I like great stuff. The guy's really awesome as this, playing the snobby intellectual heel. I'm really into the character. And him saying it's like the Thunder Beam Goose, and that cracked me up. That was freaking funny. This, on the flip side, was not so funny. Brodus Clay and Hunico. Okay, before, I didn't have Michael Cole. Well, it was funny, I thought, but I just got kicked out of it. I don't know, maybe just because I was cracking up over Sandow's promo. Like, Michael Cole was going like this, when Brodus Clay came out, so I found that a little funny. But, so Brodus squashed Hunico pretty much, before the match started, Hunico Camacho double-teamed Brodus. Then Brodus, instead of, he hulked up, I'm calling it here, funked up. And then the, bell sounds, Brodus just goes to town on Hunico, Camacho gets on the apron, Brodus, punches him off, and Brodus just big splashes, Hunico to recount. Not much to it. That was the end, and that was it. Then we get to, main event, Sheamus and Chris Jericho. Again, another DQ, / no finish. Del Rio came in. Del Rio threw, Jericho was on the outside. He threw Jericho into the steel steps, and then locked the close arm breaker on Sheamus. And then Randy Orton came to the ring, and he pounded on Del Rio. Then Sheamus pushed Orton off of Del Rio, and then Sheamus started pounding on Alberto more, and or he started pounding on him. And then Orton pulled Sheamus off of Del Rio, and then they started arguing. They had words with each other. Then Jericho came in and gave Del Rio a code breaker. Then Orton gave Del Rio an RKO, and then Sheamus gave him a brogue kick. So, and then Orton and Sheamus just intently just have this intense stare down, and that ended the show. So it was good stuff. I thought it was kind of weird that Alberto got triple teamed, but it was still good. It was still good stuff. Like I said, I thought it was a solid show overall. Daniel Bryan's really awesome as a Yeah, in his heel role. Damien Sandow is like really is hilarious. I mean, I think that was my favorite part of the one. That was definitely one of the highlights of the show for me this week. So that pretty much do it. I mean, like I said, overall solid show. I think they're doing a good job to building up to Over the Limit. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see that show. $45 is kind of high for, kind of steepy for pay-per-view. So I guess that'll pretty much do it. So until on Tuesday, when I'm back with I'll definitely be back on Tuesday with a post-Raw video. And I did see the Evolve show last night. I thought it was good. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do a recap on it because I'm not as familiar with the Evolve guys as I am with the WWE and TNA and stuff. But I will be watching the ROH show in about 15 minutes. So that'll do it. And like I said, feel free to add me as a contact on YouTube. Leave comments on my channel. You can check out my blog, tonyviz.blogspot.com. Got the in-depth recap of all the shows there. And that'll pretty much do it. So until Tuesday, when I'm back with my post-Raw video, this is Tony Viz the Tone, and that'll do it. Take care, everybody.